So Poundland have released a new range of makeup, and today I thought I would test it out on camera together. I picked up so much makeup. I've got 12 items and altogether it came to £14, which in comparison to other makeup is very, very cheap. So let's see if it's actually any good and test it out. So I'm going to start off on the eyes. I've picked up an eyebrow gel. This was the last one in stock, so it must be very popular. This is the Slay the Brow Gel in the shade Brunette number 2. So let's open it up and see. So it's got a really, really nice tiny little wand. So let's try applying this on the brows now. Okay, so it's definitely a very, very natural formula. I think it's very wet as well compared to other formulas. It doesn't seem to be sticking on my brows. It is sticking on now. I think it's definitely something you have to build up, so it's not going to be a one swipe and done. I'm definitely building this up compared to another brow gel, but for £1 you can't complain. So that is the other brow done. I really did like the size of the brush on this. I feel like it's a really nice size brush. It's really easy to use. It just really gets into the brow hairs. I will say, because the formula is so thin, I feel like a lot of it went on the skin rather than sitting on the brows. So I did have to keep wiping it up around the brows because it got a lot on my skin. But again, we'll see how it dries down, if it's any better after that. So next up, we're onto the eyes. They did have a couple of eyeshadow palettes, but I really, really like the colours in this one. It's like a nice purpley, pinky gold, something a bit different, and there was only 2 of these, so I wanted to pick up one of these ones. The other shades are more of a natural brown shade, but I wanted something a bit more fun and bright so we can really see how the colour looks on camera. So before I do my eyeshadow, I am going to prime my eyes, and I did pick up a concealer. So this is the lighter shade. This is in the shade Swan number 1, and I'm going to use this as an eye primer as well. This was really, really cheap. This was £1, and in here you get 5ml of product. So it's got a really nice little applicator. It's like a really nice smooth blending one. Let's see what the formula is like. Oh my god, I feel like there's nothing in here. I've just squeezed all the way down and nothing's come out. Okay, so there's not that much product in. I think that definitely they've made it look bigger than what it is, but the majority of actual product is air. But we're just going to pop this on top of the eye. So I'm just going to blend that in and see what the formula looks like. So it's actually given a nice bit of coverage. It's probably a light to medium coverage, but it's more coverage than what I thought it would be. And it's blending out very, very smoothly. So that is nice. So now we are going to move on to the eyeshadow. So what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to start with this lighter pink shade in the corner here. And I'm just taking that on a big fluffy brush. And there's not that much fallout actually. So it's actually given a nice little bit of pigment. It's not overly pigmented, and I'm just going to see how that blends as well. So there's a lot more pigment than actually I thought, and it's blending really, really nicely. I would say that this isn't actually that much different to a few high-end eyeshadow palettes that I have, and for £1 is very, very good. So I'm really, really liking this so far, and I've been desperate to try out this purple shade, the dark, dark purple. So I'm going to go in with that next, and I'm going to put that on the very outer corner of my eye. Let's see. Oh, maybe this one's not as pigmented. Okay. Okay, so this one isn't as pigmented as the pink, so we're just going to have to build this up a lot more. I'm just going to go in with my finger, I think, because it's not existing at the minute. So we've got a bit of colour building up now. This colour, you definitely have to use a lot more product to get that pigment there. But again, it is blending out very, very nicely. It's not stuck to one place. I am going to take a little bit of that purple as well on the inner corner of the eye, and for some reason this has actually gone on so much more pigmented on the inner corner. So I don't think this eyeshadow likes having other shades underneath it, because I went in with that pink before on the first side and it just didn't want to stay on. So this is definitely a use on its own colour, I think. We're now going to blend that in. I want to use a sparkly colour in the centre, so I'm going to use a little bit of this yellow colour first, just to blend that going in to the centre. I'm just applying this on a little flat brush, and I am also just going to take a little bit of that yellow again on a fluffy brush and very, very lightly just blend that over the top of the purple, just so it blends a little bit more into my skin tone. So I'm just building up that purple again, blending that just slightly over where we've taken that yellow. We're going to go in with the gold shimmer, and I'm going to put this in the centre of the lid where I've got no colour at the minute. So I'm going to apply this with my finger as I normally would apply a shimmer with my finger. It's not obviously like a blinding shimmer, but when the light catches it, you can definitely see that it is a nice bit of shimmer. It's not too in your face, but it seems to be sticking down quite well as well, so that's a good sign. Okay, so this is how the eyes are looking at the moment. I feel like the palette has done really, really well. Obviously, there are a few bits where it was like the pigment wasn't as strong, or it sort of blended away that you would get with a cheaper palette. But then saying that, you can definitely tell that I've got my eyeshadow on. It just took a little bit more time to sort of build up and blend out. Okay, so it is a really, really nice palette. I think it just takes a little bit more time for it to work. So to continue with the eyes, I have now got an eyeliner. This one is a liquid liner in black, and it is just like a little pot one. So let's have a look at the wand. Actually, that's a really, really nice skinny little wand. That looks really, really tiny, so I actually think that's going to be absolutely fine to apply with. It's just going to be how the formula is, how long it takes to dry down and things like that. So let's try it out and see what it's like. That is easily one of the best eyeliners that I have used. The brush is really, really small. It's really flexible, but not too flexible. The formula is that nice sort of consistency where it's thin enough to move, but not too thick that it gets stuck. The colour is so black and works so well. So that is, for £1, ridiculously cheap and really, really good. Okay, so that is the eyeliner done. Now on the other eye as well. Again, I really, really like this eyeliner. It just went on so easily, and it was so easy to get them symmetrical. I just think the brush on this and the formula is really, really good, and it's like completely dried down, like it's not coming off. So definitely recommend this eyeliner. So I did pick up the Turn Up the Volume and Define waterproof mascara. So let's see what this is like. Oh, it's a plastic wand, which I actually prefer. So that's what the wand looks like. So it's actually a decent size wand. There doesn't look like a lot of product on there, so I'm just going to swivel it around a bit. And let's just try putting this on. So I'm going to go in with this eye first, and I'm just going to sort of give a wiggle and flick. Okay, so it's not actually doing anything. It doesn't seem to be giving that much length. I don't know how much formula is actually on the brush. It's just not giving any length, and my eyelashes are long anyway, so I don't know about this mascara, to be honest. Okay, so I've tried and tried with that mascara, but I'm not getting anything really on my lashes. Like a little bit. It's very, very natural. It's just not great. It's just not really given much, and I'll insert a clip of what my lashes normally look after mascara. So my lashes are naturally quite long. I don't know, I just feel like I don't like it, to be honest with you, so I'm gonna pass on this one. I just don't think it's that great. Okay, so I may have had to put some false lashes on just so I actually looked like I had lashes, because the mascara just really wasn't doing it. So we're now moving on to the base. So to start with the base, I have picked up a foundation. This one was a little bit more pricey at £2.50. This one says to be a full coverage, long lasting satin finish foundation with instant anti-aging effects. I ended up getting it in the shade Swan again, which is number 1. I'm going to pop a little bit on the back of my hand. It's literally not moving, so it's a very thick formula. And what I'm going to do to make it fair is I'm going to go in with my normal brush. It's very, very thick. And I'm just going to start blending that in, and it is very light, but I thought normally in the nicest way possible with cheaper foundations they tend to oxidize a bit anyway, so even if it's a little bit light now, it would probably be my skin tone by the time it dries. So I have got a blemish here. Let's see how well it does at covering my blemishes. I'm not gonna lie, it's given a little bit of Estee Lauder double wear. It's not moving, it's sitting on the skin, it's like dried down, it's given a nice finish. It's just doing really, really well. Honestly, this is one of the nicest foundations I've ever bought. So this was £2.50, and it's the same as Estee Lauder Double Wear. So now I'm going back in with my concealer. I'm going to go slightly over that spot there that I wanted to cover. I'm then also just taking this under the eyes, and it is ever so slightly lighter, so it is brightening under my eye as well. This is giving a really, really nice finish. I'd probably say it's looking at about a medium coverage, so it's got still good coverage. So that is the concealer done. Again, it's got the same finish and feel. Once it's dried down, it almost sticks itself into place. And I haven't powdered yet, and it's not creasing. I am going to set that down anyway because I am more oily skin. So I'm going to use the Smoothly Does It pressed powder in translucent number 1. So now I'm just going to take that powder on a powder puff, popping this under the eye. You can see a difference. This is where I haven't applied the powder. and this is where I have. So it's looking so much more brighter and like set down and blurred. So that is my base all set down. That is looking blurred and smooth. This is the best combination of base I've ever used, and it's the cheapest I've ever used. So I feel like the world is a lie and I don't know what I'm doing spending all my money on expensive makeup at this point. Right, so now on to adding colour to the skin. So I am going to go in with my matte bronzer. I got this in matte medium 2. So this is how it's looking. I will admit it looks very, very orange, but it was the only colour they had. So we're going to see what happens, and fingers crossed it doesn't ruin the makeup. So I'm going to take this on a big fluffy brush. I'm going to dip in a couple times and let's see how this blends into the skin. So it's not as dark as I thought it would be. It looks very, very orange in the pan. I think once it sits down on the skin, it doesn't want to blend as much, so it's not the most blendable bronzer, but for the colour of it, it's still looking quite natural, so it's not terrible. Take a little bit just down the sides of the nose. Okay, so that's the bronzer. I will say it's a really nice natural colour. It's given a little bit of warmth without looking too orange. It's not overly blendable, so you don't want to go in too heavy with it, but for the price of it, this was £1. It's done a nice job and it's very natural. Now to add a bit more colour, I picked up a blusher. There was a couple, but this one stood out to me more. Again, it was a little bit brighter. The other ones were a lot more muted. This is the soft blusher. This is in 2 Shimmer. We've got a couple of shades here. We've got a darker shade and a lighter shade. The lighter shade looks almost a little bit more highlighty, so what I'm going to do, start with the darker shade and put a little bit of the lighter shade on top. Going in with the darker shade. It is very glowy actually, so I don't know if I need the other one on top. So that is the blusher. It's gone on really, really nicely and does blend out very nicely as well. I'm going to take the little pinky shade and I'm just going to go slightly over the top. I'm going to take this ever slightly just under the brow, and I love that. It's definitely more of a blush highlighter duo, but I really, really love it. It's blendable, it's got colour, and it gives a nice glow. Finally, we are on to lips, and I've got 2 lip liners here. So I ended up picking up Thriving, and then I've also got Worthy, which is definitely more pinky. So I definitely really like the look of the pinky shade, so I'm going to go in with that one. They're really nice and pigmented, but also really waxy, so they're not going to move around. And I'm also taking that all over the lips. I will say it looks a little bit more browny now it's applied, but it's such a good formula. It's not moving, it's not transferring at all. It feels very, very long lasting, so that's a really, really nice pencil. I'm really excited about this. So this is now the lip gloss. I ended up picking up the shade All That Shimmers because it looked very, very sparkly and I love that. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this on the top. So that is the Shimmer lip gloss now applied. It's absolutely not sticky whatsoever, and it's also given a really nice bit of sparkle, a bit of shimmer and a bit of gloss. So that is now all the makeup done. It's time for my final thoughts. So definitely something that stood out to me was the base products. My number one has to be the foundation. I cannot get over how good that sat on the skin. It's really high-end feeling and it just really, really works. It's still sitting really, really nicely. It's definitely one of my favourites. The blushes, again, are really, really pretty, really nice little travel size. Give it a nice bit of glow. So if you like something that's a bit of a mix of a blush and highlight, use these. And then I also have to talk about the lip products. The pencils went on really, really nicely, really waxy and really pigmented. Gloss as well was really, really good. It also was not sticky, really shiny, really glossy, and just gives that really nice look. Definitely feels high end as well. This is the final look that I completed with £14 worth of makeup, which definitely doesn't look like I spent £14. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, let me know. And if you'd like, please do. If you'd like to subscribe, again, please do. That would be amazing. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.